Okay, our topic for today is the reduced row echelon form. In reducing a matrix to a row echelon form, you have to follow 4 properties. Number 1, all rows consisting entirely of zeros, if any, are at the bottom of the matrix. The first non-zero entry in each row that does consist does not. The first non-zero entry in each row that does not consist entirely of zeros is a 1. We call it the leading entry in each row. Number 3 property, if row I and row I plus 1 are two successive rows that do not consist entirely of zeros, then the leading entry of row I plus 1 is to the right of the leading entry of row I. And the last property, if a column contains a leading entry of some row, then all other entries in that column are 0. Nota bene, meaning take note. The elementary row operations may be used to reduce a matrix to a reduced row echelon matrix. So, we have these 4 properties. To understand it better, let's have a problem. So for our problem, transform to row reduced echelon form of matrix with an entry of 1, minus 1, minus 1, 3, negative 1, negative 1, positive 1, negative 5, and 1, 1, 1, 1. So to solve it, we have the problem 1, negative 1, 1, negative 1, negative 1, 1, negative 1, 1, 1, 3, negative 5, and 1. What will you do here? Now, apply the properties. First, add row 1 to row 2. Kasi gagawin mo itong 0. So we have now just copy the first row. 1, negative 1, negative 1, 3. So to make the second row of the first column 0, we have to add row 1 to row 2. So 1 minus 1 equals 0 now. Negative 1 plus negative 1 equals negative 2. Negative 1 plus 1 equals 0. 3 negative 5 is negative 2. Next. We will make this as 0 as well. So, we have to multiply row 1 by negative 1. Then add row 3. Negative 1 times negative 1, positive 1, plus 1 equals 2. The same thing here. 3 times negative 1, negative 3, plus 1 equals negative 2.
Sir, iba row 2 po.
Row 3 na tayo. Kulay blue na oh.
Hindi sir, ano po, yung multiply row 2 to negative 1 po.
Multiply row 1. Multiply row 1 by negative 1, then add to row 3. So, blue siya. Next. As you notice, this is 2. You can multiply by negative 1/2 to make it 1. Parehas lang kasi. So here guys, you apply property 4. Okay, next. If you multiply this by negative 1/2, you have 1, negative 1, negative 1, 3, 0, 1, 0, 1, then 0, 2, 2, negative 2. And this is property 2. Next. Guys, tandaan nyo palagi, pagdating sa echelon form, dapat ang magiging sagot yung ay ganitong order. 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. And any number na dyan. So, mapapansin nyo, itong diagonal entry must be 1. Tapos, ang sa ibabaw niya, 0 at saka 0 sa ilalim. So, let's proceed. Here, to make this 0, we have to add row 2 to row 1. So let's start. One, zero, zero. Add row 2 to row 1. So 1 minus 1 equals 0. Copy, 0, negative 1. 1 plus 3 equals 4. Next, to make this 2 0, just multiply row 2, ito, negative 2, then add row 3. So multiply row 2 by negative 2, then add row 3. So as you notice, it becomes now 0, this maintains 2, 1 times negative 2, negative 2 times negative plus negative 2, we have negative 4. Next, to make this 0 and this 1, multiply row 3 by by 1/2. So we have 1, 0, negative 1, 4, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, divided by 1/2 becomes 1, divided by 1/2 we have negative 2. Kaya lang may problema ka pa dito, dapat ito maging 0. What will you do? Add row 3 to row 1. So we have now 1, 0, add row 3 to row 1. So 1 minus 1 equals 0. Negative 2 plus 4, we have 2. Just copy the entry of the second row and the third row. So this is now your final answer. So our problem, transform to row echelon form 1, negative 1, negative 1, 3, negative 1, negative 1, 1, negative 5, 1, 1, 1. That is our matrix. To reduce it to row echelon form, you have to arrive to this pattern in your final answer, that the diagonal entry must be in 1. So, para siyang identity matrix. At sa ibabaw at sa ilalim, mga 0. To do it, just manipulate the entry. First, just copy the first row. Then you have to make the second row be 0. Remember guys that your leading entry here is 1, so wala ka ng problema. But here, your leading entry here is negative 1. To make it 0, just add row 1 to row 2. And here, to make this 0 also, just multiply row 1 by negative 1, then add row 3. So let's start. 1 minus 1, 0. Negative 1, negative plus negative 1, negative 2. Negative 1 plus 1 equals 0. And 3 minus 5, negative 2. Dito naman, to make it 0, multiply negative 1. Multiply negative. Multiply by row 1 by negative 1, then add to row 3. So, 1 times negative 1 equals negative 1 plus 1 equals 0. 1, negative 1 times negative 1 equals positive 1 plus 1 equals 2. Negative, the same thing here. And 3 times negative 1 is negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. As you notice now, this can be reduced to 1 by multiplying the entries of the second row by 1/2. So we have just copy the first row, 1, negative 1, negative 1, 3. Then multiply it by negative 1/2. So we have negative 2 times negative 1/2 becomes 1, then 0. Negative 2 times or divide by negative 2 equals 1. Then copy the third row. Now, as you notice, you have now the entry of 1, the leading entry in the second row. You have to make the entry on the upper part be 0 and the lower part be 0 of the leading entry of the second row. Just add row 2 to row 1. So we have 1 minus 1 equals 0. 0 minus 1, negative 1. And 1 plus 3 equals 4. On the other hand, multiply row 2 by negative 2, then add row 3. So 1 times negative 2 plus 2 equals 0. 2. 1 times negative 2, negative 2 plus negative 2 equals negative 4. Next. As you notice, you have to make this to be 1. Just multiply row 3 by 1/2. So you copy the entry here. So 1, 0, negative 1, 4. And 0, 1, 0, 1. As you notice, we have to make this 0. Just add row 3 to row 1. So 1 minus 1, 0. Negative 2 plus 4, 2. Then, just copy the entry.